Okay, now let's talk about things that hinder our sleep. The first thing is stress and anxiety. And I know if I'm ever worried about something, especially in the past, it was hard for me to turn my brain off. And I would just be thinking throughout the night, and I would just be up and I would look at the clock, and then I'm thinking about things, all the things I had to do at work, all the things that were going on in my personal life. And then it was hindering my sleep environment. So if you have a lot of loud noises, if you have a lot of light, if it's too cold or it's too hot, those things can hinder your sleep as well. So if you have an inconsistent bedtime, that actually really hinders your sleep. So there's an internal clock that your body has. And you probably notice it once you start sleeping like on a regular schedule. So I wake up every morning at 4 o'clock, and I know you're like, okay, Jamina or JL, 4 o'clock really? But yes, because I have to be at the school at a certain time, and I like to work out in the mornings because a lot of times if I don't work out in the morning, I won't get to it in the afternoon, or I don't want to do it in the afternoon. So if I do it in the morning, I know it's going to get done. So if I go ahead and get up at 4, that gives me enough time to work out, do yoga, journal, pray, and meditate. That is my morning routine. But one thing that I've noticed is once I continue doing that for a certain amount of time, even on the weekends, if I didn't set my alarm or I said, hey, I'm going to sleep in 4:30, like clockwork, I just woke up. So every morning, even if I don't set my alarm, but I do, but even if I don't set my alarm, my body automatically just wakes up every morning because you have an internal clock. So you want to make sure that you're going to bed at the same time every night, you're getting up the same time in the morning. Then that just helps your body stay regulated, and that internal clock is just really important for your health and your growth. Now, one of the things that God put in nature is when the sun rises, naturally your body should be waking up with the rise of the sun. Now, at 4 o'clock in the morning, there is no sun rising. So what you can do is if you wake up before the sun is out, then just turn on bright lights in your space. If you're with a spouse or a partner, you might want to go into a different space where you can have your morning time, but just make sure you turn on those bright lights because the eyes, they have to see that light in order to wake up and to set that eternal clock to say, okay, we're up, we're going. If you are up when the sun is rising, it is a wonderful thing to do just to go outside and just spend some time in the sun, just basking in that wonderful sunlight. And that's a great thing to do just throughout the day, period. It's something about being in the sun. We even get vitamins from the sun, that good old vitamin. All right, let's continue to talk about some things that hinder sleep. Caffeine. There are certain substances that hinder our sleep. Caffeine is one. I love caffeine. It's a stimulant. Well, I don't know if I love it, but I drink a caffeinated beverage in the morning. It helps me to get up and going, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you actually consume it, or you're drinking those drinks or taking some type of caffeinated supplement later on in the evening near the time that you sleep, that can hinder your sleep. Nicotine also, those products are stimulants, and they can and they can interfere with you falling asleep. Also alcohol, which is funny because when you drink alcohol, you get sleepy and you actually think that it helps you with your sleep. You can get sleepy with alcohol, but once you do go to sleep, alcohol actually disrupts your sleep cycles. And then it actually reduces the quality of your sleep. So I know sometimes we like to have that, especially as teachers, we like to have that glass of wine in the evening before we go to sleep, and it can actually help you get to sleep, but it disrupts the patterns as you sleep. So if you can limit alcohol, that would actually increase your sleep quality. Another thing that hinders our sleep are those electronic devices. So that can be your cell phone, your iPad, your television. Sometimes all of those are going on all at the same time, your laptop. Those things disrupt your sleep. That blue light, it actually delays the release of melatonin, which is that hormone that helps you to go to sleep. And then also, if you're watching like really engaging content close to the time you're sleeping, you're playing video games, or you're watching a really intense show or movie or scary movie, things like that, that's going to hinder you being able to just go into that restful place. Actually, if you're living a sedentary lifestyle, that can actually hinder your sleep, because people who aren't active during the day, sometimes that makes it harder to feel tired at night when it's time to go to bed. Or sometimes if you exercise too late, like if you're doing a vigorous exercise right before bed, that adrenaline that you feel, that can actually help or actually hinder you winding down to go to sleep as well. Also, there's some mental health issues that actually hinder sleep. Those are things like depression, PTSD, anxiety. I know several educators that deal with depression and anxiety. A lot of teachers take medication for anxiety because it's just such a stressful job that we have. But those are things also that can disrupt the sleep. I'm going to talk about some things that will help you to fall asleep a little later on in the video. Let's talk about those naps. So I get it. I like to nap as well. When we're finished with the school day, like we are so overstimulated, our brains are on a cognitive overload. And one of the first things that I want to do when I get home is just go sit down or just go lay down. And I totally get that. Naps are awesome. I love taking a power nap after work and then getting up and then continuing on with the rest of my day. The thing about daytime napping is if it's over an hour or if it's later on closer to the time that you're going to go to sleep, that's going to hinder your sleep. So you want to make sure, what I do is I like to I set an alarm. So I know, okay, I won't sleep any longer than 30 minutes. Sometimes I'll even take a 15-minute nap. But even 15-30 minutes, you can feel really invigorated, but no more than 1 hour naps.